So, ready to ride?
We ready to ride?
We go.
Burgers.
Burgers. How you ended up in design and well more so into bridal?
Well, like I said, I really planned to be a dancer. I was professionally trained since I was 5 years old. So I grew up in the Middle East and Cyprus. So most of my childhood was spent in Cyprus. And there I did ballet, modern theatre, jazz dance, contemporary. It was like a huge part of my daily schedule after school. So I was kind of at the point where we were deciding, is this something you're going to do professionally or not? Yeah. But I already had quite a few things stacked against me in terms of dancing. So the thing that I loved the most after dancing is the arts. I knew I wanted to do art and design. I wasn't sure about fashion as yet, but I got an unconditional offer to London College of Fashion. So I reached, and yes, it was art and design, but with a slant on fashion. So and then I was actually good at it, good at sewing and stuff. So it kind of just became the next natural thing, but it really wasn't my original goal.
Because that's the interesting thing. A lot of people end up in industries that they didn't plan for.
Right.
But it's nice too because you end up finding a passion there.
Well, the funny thing is, in retrospect, when I look back on my life, I realized that I kind of always was involved in fashion though, because, well, one, with dancing, when we had stage productions, etc., I was always involved in either the set design or helping with the costumes and that kind of thing. But just me, myself, personally, with, well, I have the skin condition vitiligo, which I've had it since I was 5. As I was getting older and like the patches were taking over my skin, etc., and my skin color was changing, I started to use style as a way to stop people from talking about my skin and more talk about my other attributes. So that's actually one of the reasons why I'm such a talkative person, because like distract people from looking at my skin, you know?
Right. Now, the interesting part of all this is, even though you're talking about fashion and into fashion, you're very specifically into bridal.
Well, formal wear, but the bridal has taken over in that. So I do special occasion formal wear. Well, one, bridal in Trinidad never stops. Like, we always in season. So people get married at Christmas, they get married around Carnival. People are now getting married more at Easter, which they weren't doing before. So while the rest of the world generally has a peak bridal season, tends to be between May and September, we're just going right through. So the bridal has taken over for me. You know, you find like resort wear and swimwear here tends to be predominant in fashion. And I'm just not that way inclined. So when I was over there, I'm, you know, influenced by winter collections, and I was influenced by historic European stuff like Victorian style corsets and that kind of thing. So I actually specialized in corsetry my final year.
Corsetry.
Yeah. And you come back to Trinidad and it's like, who's gonna wear a corset in Trinidad? This is not making sense. So I had to find a way to make it make sense. So it was a very strategic move to go into bridal because, one, we don't have the red carpet culture, but how can I continue to do what I love to do in my aesthetic, but still justify the price that it costs to create something like that? About it is a fairy tale. Let me just tell you that. The picture that you get at the end and what actually happens is two different things.
Serious. It seems like that and everybody speaks about it like that. So when you hear bridal, immediately those kind of images come up. But knowing a bit about you and especially about the book that you published, that book is everything but fairy tale. And you know, it kind of tell me a little bit about the book.
Oh, about the book. Okay, so I wrote this book called The Rabbit Hole of You. That's the main title. The subtitle is Writings Inspired by Memories of a Lover or Two. And that is basically a culmination of events. It was never supposed to be a book. That's the first thing. What happened is that the person I was involved with, it's very difficult to talk to them about my feelings. They was a very non-emotional person. So when I couldn't talk or discuss what was going on and what I was feeling, or I couldn't get the response that I was looking for, I used to write. And I've been writing since I was like 8-9 years old. I've been publishing poems and stuff like that. So I just used to write it down, and then I just needed like a place, a platform to put it. So I started my personal Instagram platform, because I always just had my business Instagram profile. And on the personal Instagram profile, I just used to put like snippets of what I was feeling and what I was thinking. So it was almost like an online diary, just with a couple of phrases and stuff. But it started picking up traction, and I realized that people were actually started paying attention. So I started kind of writing with that intent, and then I was like, you know what? Instagram isn't big enough for the things that I want to say, so I need to put it somewhere, because I had some prose as well, not just poetry. I need to put it somewhere, and honestly, the book just kind of wrote itself. So it was like taking the things, going back on Instagram, taking the things I had written, but then putting it in a way that, here what? Every poem or every piece by itself stands alone, so you could read it and still relate. But at the same time, if you read it beginning to end, you kind of get the idea of the story, you know?
Is it difficult to create that happy dress, happy moment type feel and deal with the clients, that kind of thing?
So yeah, is it difficult to create sometimes? Absolutely yes, when I have personal things going on, when work starts to pile up. So on the plus side, I am very grateful that I'm in demand, so to speak. But at the same time, I need to be really mindful of the fact that what is my capacity? How much can I, because I'm doing everything from start to finish. I have no staff, nobody's helping me. So what is my capacity? How many brides can I take on before it's too much? And then something could happen with one bride that inevitably has a knock-on effect and affects my other clients, whether it's something like timeline, scheduling, if something goes wrong in the process or whatever. That because I'm doing something creative and it's art, one thing could change my mind, affect my mindset, and then affect everybody else. And in that regard, the creative side, you have to be aware of the business side, that here what? Yes, you're creative, you let it flow and but once it starts affecting other people in the process, then the business starts getting affected, because of course you can't let that happen. These are clients as well, you know?
Right around the corner from it, so I guess time to take off the interview hat.
Burgers!
I'm ready.
Cool, that's it. We had the burger by Lola's, and you know what? It was a good burger. I could safely say, yeah, Lola's doing something good there. The burger was a nice one. Quality ingredients, you know, not just regular lettuce, is like real nice artisan lettuce. The patty was well seasoned, a good size. The bread that they use, well, they use different types of bread, you know, according to supply and that sort of thing. Could have been better, and that was one of the things I took away from it. But all in all, a good burger, good value for money. I think it could get a solid 7 for the chew factor. Check out the review, and yeah, check out that Lola's burger. I could say, yeah, doing things.